Hey guys, how you doing? My name is codename Bigbear, or Stuart if you want to call me by my first name. Welcome to the Bear's Den. What we're going to do today is, I'm going to talk about the N64 app coming to the Switch, and games that I would like to see, and games I'm expecting to turn up purely because they're not very good. This sounds a bit weird, I know. So basically, so we got the main drop, which has like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, and I want to say Cruising USA. That's the only thing that's actually on there. But yeah, there's a couple of games on there. Then we've got the second drop. It's got Majora's Mask and Banjo-Kazooie, that kind of thing going on there. After that drop, what can we expect from Nintendo? Well, if anything to go by, if there is anything to go by when it comes to the NES and SNES apps, nothing majorly exciting. I mean, like, we will get something exciting, of course. I fully expect us to get more Pokemon games than Pokemon Snap. I fully expect us to get, I don't know. There's so many N64 games that I would love to play. I expect us to get Perfect Dark on the Nintendo. I really do, especially with Microsoft having that kind of friendly relationship, and Donkey Kong 64 as well. And I'm excited for it. I really am. As you know, the last week's video, I was very excited and I spoke about the controller a bit. But this week, like I said, I'm going to talk about that. What I mean by some kind of rubbish games coming to the N64 is, if you look at the NES and the SNES app, they've released some games recently that have been a bit rubbish, basically. Which is a shame, because those libraries have some amazing games in it. Now, we got some really cool games. Don't get me wrong. We got Wild Guns for the SNES, for instance. That's a great game, and I'm so glad it released. It's a game I never played, and when I finally got to play it on the app, I was extremely happy. But as an example of some rubbish games that came out for the NES, let's find out more. So again, I'm looking at my laptop here. I do apologize. Tennis. I mean, come on. Tennis? Like, they could have been much better sports games, I guess. That's on the NES. Tennis, you got Ice Climbers, which notoriously isn't an amazing game. Same with Balloon Fight. They're classics, by all means, but they're not incredible, and they're relatively dull. They're very straightforward, basic arcade games. Baseball, ice hockey. The ice hockey game is pretty good. I'll take that one back. But you got some amazing games in there as well. Super Mario 3, River City Ransom, Legend of Zelda, Gradius, and Dr. Mario, for instance. They're all there, which is really cool. But on the... No, there's still more actually came out. There was... what was that? Mighty Bomb Jack. I played that. Wasn't a fan. Adventure Link. That's actually a really good game. Blaster Master. There's actually quite a few on here that are really not great after playing it. Kung Fu Heroes wasn't good either. Just wasn't a fan. If I go to the SNES one, I'll give you that example there as well. And then I'll go and talk about what I think will be coming for the N64. So on the SNES, which is the app I played the most because it's more my childhood than the NES was, even though I played that as one of my first consoles I ever played, which is very cool. We had things like, so the first drop they did on it was great. Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero. There was a really good drop. Then we had Star Fox 2. What? Star Fox 2? Finally, amazing. I wanted to play that for years since I found out it existed. So probably like the last 7-ish years or so, when I found out it actually existed, and when we finally got it, yes, very, very happy boy. But we also got Super Punch-Out, and then we started getting things that were a bit off. Natsumi Championship Wrestling is an alright wrestling game. It's not the most amazing one. We got Super Mario's Picross. I don't get Picross at all. I could be wrong. I just don't get it. I wasn't a big fan of it. The Peacekeepers, it's alright, beat 'em up. What else we got here? Prehistoric Man. Yeah, it's alright side scroller, it's fine. Absolutely fine. It's just not incredible, not amazing. Spanky's Quest, surprisingly good, but again, not a game anyone was really expecting, not a game anyone wants. But the last drop was just rubbish. We got Claymates, Jelly Boy, and Bomboozle. Bomboozle is a half-decent puzzle game, but those games were rubbish. Basically, there's just not some good games. But for the N64, what I'm expecting to happen is we get this second drop. We get all Pokemon, and we get Banjo-Kazooie, we get, I don't know what else we get, I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we're going to get some good games coming out, of course, but we're also going to get some games that no one's really expecting, no one really wants. And I've just kind of written down a small list of games that I kind of expect to come out purely because of Nintendo's attitude. And these games, as far as I can tell, don't really have any licensing issues, apart from maybe one. But we'll get to that when I get to it. But this first one is Star Soldier 64. It's like a top-down shooty arcade game. That looks really good. I actually saw a video the other day, which is actually what inspired this video. Just so you saw that I've never played this game before, but it looks very, very cool, and it looks exactly like the kind of game Nintendo will want to release. Because they like releasing shoot-em-ups, and it looks like, as far as I know, it's one of the only shoot-em-ups you get on the N64. So why wouldn't you? It looks really, really cool. But yeah, I've never played it. It looks great though. But that'll be one of those games that'll be like, oh, that's a little surprise hit there. You never know, like a kind of like a hidden gem, I suppose. Yeah, after that, I would expect Shadow Man, a game I really enjoy. It's kind of got middling reviews, and it's got a bit of a cult following in the years since its release. But I remember this game being advertised everywhere back in the day, like everywhere, every other page of any gaming magazine, Shadow Man was there. You had the dude with the gun pointing at the camera, and he's got this kind of chest, skull, rib thing going on. He's dead, he's got shades on, he's looking badass and full on late 90s, early 2000s. No, in late 90s, early 2000s wasn't a thing for N64, what we're talking about. But the full on late 90s kind of attitude. And it was actually a really cool game. It was a really cool game about the occult. But it was kind of a bit directionless, but I kind of expect it to come out. I really do. I also put down Worms Armageddon as well. I don't know if there are any licensing issues there, but Worms Armageddon was a flipping great game on the N64. I'm positive I had it, and I'm positive I still got it. It was just... Worms is brilliant, and that'll be such a good game for the Switch. You can have 4 players. If you've got 2 sets of Joy-Cons, you've got 4 players playing. You have one controller, and you can still have 4 players playing because of the way the game could work. It's just a flipping great multiplayer shoot 'em up. Well, I say shoot 'em up, strategy kill your mates type of game. It's a really great game, and I kind of expect it to come along, especially as Worms was one of the first times it was on a console that wasn't a PlayStation. Obviously, I'm excluding the SNES version, although I really wish the SNES version would come out on this. But again, there might be license issues, I don't really know. Rampage 64. Generally considered not a great game, but does have a cult following, and Rampage is fantastic. I've always loved the Rampage series. Rampage 64, I played this with my friend Aiden constantly, all the time. We absolutely loved this game. I still got the copy he gave me for my birthday many years ago. But yeah, no, it's a great game, but not considered great. Carmageddon 64. I expect this to be released on the N64 because it's kind of the edgy one. But the 64 version of this game was... I mean, the game's crap anyway. Like, it's absolutely rubbish anyway. Carmageddon wasn't especially good. But in this one, I was really annoyed because I always thought Carmageddon was about like running people over, kind of Death Race 2000 style. And I got given this game for my birthday by another friend, my friend Kane. And we had watched Death Race 2000 not long before. We loved it. It was a good time. Ridiculous as dumb as it is. And he got me this, and we thought it was going to be zombies, and we're going to run through them and have a bit of fun, do that way. And when I played the game, it was dinosaurs and green blood, and I was quite disappointed. It was supposed to be this like X-rated game, and it turns out it wasn't really worth it. But I expect it to come on, because again, not rated highly. Yeah, it's kind of pretty crap. Another racing game I want on this one. This is one I want and one I flipping love. No one ever talks about it. I don't think people even realize it exists. This is one of my favorite games on the N64, and it's a racing game. And I'm not really big into racing games, but it was Destruction Derby 64. I played that game to completion. I did all the time trials. I never do time trials ever. Never, ever, ever do time trials. And I did the time trials to unlock every car I possibly could in that game, and it was so good. And if we don't get Destruction Derby on a Switch, what's the what's the point in the what is the point in the N64 app if we don't get this game? PlayStation had Destruction Derby and Destruction Derby 1 and 2, and they were fun games. They were rubbish, but they were fun. And the N64 game, I sunk so many hours into it. I absolutely loved it. And anytime we had people over, we would play this game, as well as more often we'll play WWF No Mercy, which I would love so much if that ever came to the Switch. It's never going to happen, especially with the Benoit thing. But Destruction Derby 64 needs to be on this console, and I really, really expect it to turn up. And it's not because of maybe like my own fan hype, it's purely because, again, it wasn't rated that highly, and Nintendo kind of don't really want to promote their great games. They just kind of want to go, yeah, this one was alright, let's get that one out. The last one I'm gonna say is purely because of the last SNES drop. Because we had Claymates, and by the same studio, they eventually made, or they made beforehand, Clay Fighter. Now, I don't expect the Sculptor's Edition. Could happen though, that'd be quite nice. But in Clay Fighter, we have this terrible fighting game. It's not great. This kind of little bit possibly racist with the voodoo guy. Definitely racist with the voodoo guy being in there as well. And I just really expect it to actually be on there. You know, there are old games that do have these kind of subject matters that aren't really great. But Clay Fighter is a game I played too much of. Way too much of. Like Taffy, Tiny, the Opera Lady, Earthworm Jim is in there. Now, this is the reason why I think it may not turn up, because of Earthworm Jim. I believe he is now officially on the Amico console. It's a console that you have like two little controllers with, and Earthworm Jim 4 is on there exclusively, which really depresses me because I love the Earthworm Jim series. But if Clay Fight was to come to N64, I honestly expect it to be there. I'm surprised we haven't got it on a SNES version yet, to be fair. But after Claymates, yeah, I really, really expect it to be there. Interesting game, but again, really poorly taken. And again, the reason I'm kind of making this little list and talking about this is because they have a habit of, Nintendo have a habit of bringing that out. I've spoken now for about 15 minutes. I waffled on about games that don't mean anything to anybody. I don't know. I'm very tired. So, guys, let me know what you think down below. If you think I'm correct, if you like, oh, yeah, actually, no, I do expect that game to turn up because of those reasons, or you think I am just talking out of my backside and you think I should shut up. Why am I talking about old games that no one cares about? Well, do your thing. Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that rubbish. And basically, just have yourself a really great day. And don't forget to be nice to each other. Yeah. See ya.